Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel. Today we are back up at the homestead. We have rented Dirt Perfect's John Deere 850 Dozer, and this is actually my first time running this Dozer, so we run into a few minor problems like this tree stuck in that tree, but we are on the pond project clearing the last few remaining trees, a little bit of miscellaneous cleanup, and then at the end we'll go drive a few reference grade stakes so we can kind of see, get a little bit of a picture of how this dam is going to work out. But there you go. All right, see if we can find another spot now instead of you. So, appreciate you guys watching. Okay, that's enough, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, so we are going to be on the 850 today. You guys remember this lake project we're working on, or pond project, whatever you want to call it. But I had Jerry come out the other day and meet with me to look over what else needs to be taken down and cleared, where he wants me to push all of the trash, the trees, the tops, and that kind of thing, and get ready for, well, Jerry to come in and do this, because two things real quick. Jerry's going to be he's going to be all he can be, which is a lot. He's going to be doing all the dirt work as far as getting the dam pushed up and that aspect of it. And number two, the reason for that is, aside from on the trailer and off the trailer, I've never ran this. I talked to Mike about it. He came down and looked at it as well, gave me some definite don'ts and a few little helpful tips here and there. Other than that, he said just play with it and see if you can figure it out. That's exactly what we're going to do. So this may be painful if you guys are operators and you know what you're doing. It may be painful for you, but we're going to learn together and it's going to be a fun time. I'm going to get the fluids checked real quick and then we're going to get to going. It's not tall enough to reach it. That was my dipstick. I guess that works okay. I'd say if it's at the top, we're good to go there. That's better. Now, one of these. There it is. So if you're new to the channel, let me get you caught up real quick. And if you've been with us for a while, maybe you could use the reminder. We've been working on this pond project for just a little bit now, about a month. We first started clearing the land with Dirt Perfect's Volvo 140 excavator. Ended up blowing a hydraulic line. Here's the video, you can check that out if you want to see that. Got that fixed, but ended up having to truck the Volvo out the next day. And Dirt Perfect's had it on different jobs ever since. We haven't had a chance to get it back up here yet. But the 850 is available. We obviously need it to push the dam up. So I figured since I have it there, I'm going to go ahead and use that to get the remainder of the trees down. Now, like I mentioned, this is my first time, aside from on and off the trailer, of actually operating this dozer. And later on in this video, I will kind of share my opinion of what I think makes a good equipment operator. So if you've been with us for a while, you've also noticed that I'm always flopping this thing out of the way. It's just been down in the woods. I have every intention of getting up to the barn and fixing it up. It's a log arch that somebody gifted to me, but for now, I'm just going to throw it up against the tree again. So everything was going pretty well up until this point, which still isn't that big of a deal. It was just kind of silly on my part. Pretty simple mistake. I had all the room in the world, and for whatever reason, still ended up pushing it right into the top of that other tree, but we spun it right around and see if we can get the top to break out of there.
Got all the big trees and all the trees down this section right through here. Oh, what you say?
Come out to get some pets, did you? Dozer making too much noise for you? Sorry, sweetie.
And then we're going to take a few passes through there just to knock out some of the smaller stuff. Then we're going to get those tops cut off and all the tops shoved down in a hole on the other side. Will be the other side of the dam. It's too dry to keep burning right now, so we'll just have to shove them out of the way for now. Last time I broke the tripod, I decided to get an orange one so I could remember where it was at better. And you guys can see how that's going so far. Anyway, we're getting ready to go right through there. How's that? It's like picture in picture.
That's fancy, isn't it, pup? It's fancy. Fancy smancy.
As I work my way around the edge, this is probably where I struggled the most, is around the edges. You know, with an excavator, you reach in, you grab the tree, pull it back, you swing it, you place it where you want it. With the dozer, you're kind of pushing, and I always seem to end up with everything crammed off into the woods, and then in an awkward situation trying to get it back out to the open to where I can get it pushed down the hill. And if you stick around for the whole video, you'll see later in the video I kind of get in a little bit of a bind trying to get the last little bit cleaned up. And that was Gary, my neighbor. This is a split lake, by the way. We're doing this between both of our properties. That was my neighbor Gary who came out. He's bringing out his chainsaw, and he's going to start cutting up some of those logs so we can get him pushed down the hill a little bit easier. And since Gary is going to be over on this side getting those trees cut up so we can get them all pushed together, I decided to come over to the opposite side so I'd be putting far away from him for obvious safety reasons. This is way downhill of the dam. Now typically all the trees we're clearing we would either burn up or cut into logs and save for firewood, which some of them we are saving for some neighbors for firewood, but typically we would just burn all that debris and be done with it and then push all the stumps into a hole. But because it is what we consider our fire season, it's very dry here this time of year, we are actually not going to burn everything. We're just going to shove everything downhill, out of sight, out of mind. We may in the future go down there with the excavator and get it all cleaned up, but for the time being, we're just getting it out of the way of the pond build. So that's what we're doing now, making a hole so we can get some more stuff in it. So earlier in the video, I mentioned I would share my opinions on what I think makes a good equipment operator. Now, let me start this off with this is simply my opinion, and you're more than welcome to disagree with it because that's the beauty of opinions after all. And I am not saying I'm a good equipment operator. This is not about me. This is about operators that I've seen in the past that I think, man, they know what they're doing. Now, probably one of the biggest things is that they just know what to do with the material. And by that, I mean they spend the majority of their day using the money-making part of that machine. For a dozer, obviously it's the blade. For an excavator, well, it's the bucket. And for Logger Wade and Brutus, it's the hot salt, getting those trees on the ground. A good operator knows how to set up their job site to move the most amount of material with the least amount of movement. And by movement, I mean unnecessary tracking. Tracking is what absolutely kills job site production. And I know that sounds like common sense, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be all too common. It always surprises me. I'll see it on other YouTube channels. Let's say they're clearing land. They'll take an excavator, they'll go grab a small tree, clickety-clack that tree over to the burn pile, and then clickety-clack back over to get the next small tree, instead of setting it up where they can grab all of those in bunches or large groups and get more material moved with less trips. And I'm kind of trying to do that here. I'm not being the most effective at it. Keep in mind, it is my first time on the Dozer, but I'm trying to combine smaller piles or combine multiple stumps to make, instead of a bunch of long passes, a bunch of short passes to make bigger piles, and then longer passes with those bigger piles to try to reduce the amount that I'm going up and down that hill. Now, you'll see here's a prime example of a rookie operator. I kind of failed in that pretty hard. I ended up with a bunch of stuff crammed at the edge of the woods and got frustrated so much so I took down a couple extra trees to make some room, but we still got it done. Now, that is just my opinion on one thing that makes a good operator, but there are lots of things that make good operators. I want you to add to the list in the comments what makes a good operator.
This is it. This is the last tree.
And of course, the last tree of the day ended up being the most difficult tree of the whole job. This one ended up having a taproot. What I've done on smaller dozers in the past, or what I like to do, is just dig out the roots on just 3 sides. That way you still have the front side that kind of acts a little bit like a hinge, and it helps prevent that tree from coming back on the dozer if it wants to sit back on you, because we've all seen those YouTube videos, and I'm trying really hard not to be that type of YouTube video, but you can see on this one, I end up having to go all the way around it. We'll just have to see if we actually get this guy down.
Gary's getting that one cut up. He's got the poplar cut up. I'm gonna try to make a couple passes down through here. As far as this center ditch, that's what I want to talk about real quick. As far as this center ditch, obviously we're gonna have either the 140 or the 120 out here when Jerry starts pushing up the dam so we can dig the keyway. And this center ditch, I know it doesn't look like it, but it's pretty steep and nasty, and it's pretty soft. And for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing on a dozer, it kind of seems like a dozer trap. So what we'll do, we'll just leave this a mess for now. And whenever we get the 120 or 140 out here to dig the keyway, we'll just clean that out, throw it out in the open where Jerry can take it and shove it all down on the back side of the dam. And then we'll get it all cleaned up from there. I think that'll be the safest bet for a rookie operator. Let's see if we can get this cleaned up.
We have a few more tops to clean up, and then we're going to get the laser out and shoot a couple reference stakes for Jerry when he starts pushing the dam up, and get a little bit better visual of where that dam is going to go for the pond. All in all, a pretty good day. I think it ended up being a little under 7 hours on the hour meter that day. Pretty happy with that. Pretty happy I didn't tear anything up. Pretty happy and excited and just thankful in general that I got to spend the day with a little bit of seat time and getting the feel for this dozer. It's always fun learning something new, especially hopping on a new piece of equipment. So stay tuned. We'll check out what the grade stakes are going to look like and a little bit better idea of where that dam might go.
There you go. All right, let's see if we can find another spot. So initially what we had talked about, I don't know if you guys can see that broken off tree down there, but I'll point it out in a second. Initially what we talked about was the top of the dam 2 feet below the culvert and the water level, try that again, 2 feet below the culvert and the water level 4 feet below the bottom of that culvert, 2 feet below the top of the dam. And I think that's what we're going to have to end up with. Either way, he's going to have some reference marks, that side over there and this side over here, and then he can kind of make that decision up as he's pushing dirt. I'm going to leave that up to him. But see if we can get this. And this will be, when we're looking at this, this will be 2 foot below the bottom of that culvert. All right, so you guys see that one way over there. There's the dozer. It's right in there somewhere. I can't see it on the camera, but I'm assuming you can see it on your screen. That is 2 foot below the invert of that culvert pipe right there. That top of that one is the actual invert of the culvert pipe, and this one is 2 foot below the invert of that culvert pipe. So like I said, that may not be where it actually ends up, the top of the dam, but it's just reference marks for Jerry. So whenever he's eyeballing across this thing, because Jerry's awesome. We've all watched Jerry push dirt on Mike's channel. Jerry's incredible and knows exactly what he's doing. So I don't have to give him a whole lot of direction. If I just give him a couple reference points like that, then he should be good to go. So like I said, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, next week we'll get the Volvo 140 up here, and I'll just show you what left we have to do with the Volvo 140. Oop, I just tripped. Obviously we got to clean out this center ditch. You guys remember me talking about not wanting to do that with the Dozer. And then we've got to dig the keyway wherever Jerry decides he wants the dam at. So fingers crossed, we'll start pushing up a dam next week, and I'm pretty excited about that. Look who heard us talking to you guys. Look who heard us. Come here, pup. I say pup, we really don't know. We don't know how old she is. A friend of ours had this. She was a stray at our friend's house down in Tennessee, and she brought her up one weekend, and we said we'd take her because look how sweet she is. Look at her. No, stop it. We're making YouTube videos. We're making you. Okay. All right. I don't know what else to say. I got to give my attention to her now instead of you. So I appreciate you guys watching. Okay, that's enough. And we'll catch you on the next one. What do you say? Say bye. Tell them bye. No, that's not how we do it. That's not how we do it. Good pup.